when we run business, we can just do it, right? But if we have some expectation, we have to test first about what it should be. It should be in the way that we think or not. If it's different from what we think, we have to protect, we have to plan, we have to do something. Think about when you would like to start business, you have to find out, you have to expect, you have to find the information, right? We cannot just, invest money and then run. We cannot do like that. We might lose a lot of money. Understand? Okay. Alright, let's start with the hypothesis. Remind you back about what is hypothesis mean. Hypothesis means what is expected result from the problem. Think about you already have one problem. You have to expect about what is the result, what it should be, what is the expectation, what is the outcome from that problem, right? Understand? Understand this one? Okay, so think about, we would like to test, if you are the gas station owner, you expect to sell 10,000 liters for the gas in next week. This is what you think. And then the thing that you think, you need to check, you need to identify, right? Can you tell me about why the gas station owner, they have to expect? Can they just do like that? Okay, just run business. Don't have to think anything. Just leave it like that. Cannot. Okay. What is the problem if they didn't do anything? If they didn't do anything, if they didn't plan anything, what is the problem that?
Then there's no way to fix it.
Okay, and then fix the problem. Can you mention about some problem might happen if the gas station owner didn't plan, they didn't expect any result? What is should be the problem?
Maybe the price is too high.
And the price too high, the price go up and down.
And maybeแบบว่าif they don't get the done, we will have a problem about control economy.
Okay. About the economy. Okay. And then you might think about if they didn't expect, if he or she didn't expect, he might order and keep the inventory in the wrong amount. You think about you not normally sell 10,000 liters, but if you order only 1,000, it's not enough, right? If you don't have enough, the problem is you lost the customer. After you lost the customer, you lost the sale. Okay? Understand? And actually so many questions that we have to think. Okay, and then user expect the time for using the light bulb below than 10,000 hours. This one is what you have to think as well. We have to think about, okay, the light bulb, we can use more than, or we can use less than 10,000 or 1,000 hours. Why do we have to expect? Because you might think about, you need to control the quality. You need to have the quality control, right? You need to have the quality control. After you have the quality control, and then you might think about, okay, the light bulb might not be able to use in 1,000 hours. You might not do enough quality. This is the quality that you need to control, right? And then maybe the last one is toothpaste. Company expect the people who love the new toothpaste more than 60%. Okay, you think about this is all the expectation that you think about. Okay, I would like to ask you the first thing about how can you check You think all of these hypotheses will be always correct or not? You will think about all of these hypotheses is correct or not? All of these hypotheses is correct or not? Correct? Or it might not correct. Okay, you think about the first example, second, the third example. You think about is correct or not? How can you know it's correct or not? You think about the owner would like to talk about. Okay, next week you think about the first one. Gas station owner expect to sell 10,000 liters for next week. And how can you know about this is correct or not? How can you know? How can you know it's correct or not? How can you know about, okay, you think about the gas station owner expect about next week, they will be able to sell 10,000 liters for the gas. And then how can you know it's correct or not? How can you know it's correct or not? And you think about this always correct or it might not correct, it might be wrong. What do you think? Okay. It can be correct and it can be wrong. Okay. And how can you know about what is the result? Can you mention about, okay, how can we check about 10,000 liters is correct or not? How? Okay, this one. You might think about, okay, the easy way. Okay, wait until next week, you can check. Or maybe you think about, you take a look for the history that you have. You think about last 6 months, every week you can sell more than 10,000. Okay, absolutely, I think you can sell more than 10,000 for sure. If you look at the history that you have, right? But like I told you about, in some business, we cannot wait. We don't have any result. We don't have any history to check. So the thing that we can do is we have to test by using hypothesis testing. Okay, do you understand? Any question for now? Okay, so if no question for now, so we might have to check all of this is correct or not. We have to check about all of this is correct or not. Right? Okay, any question for now? Any question for now? Okay. And then for the testing hypothesis, like we already mentioned about, okay, the result can be correct or the result can be wrong, or it might be different from what you think. The result might be the same with what you think, and the result might be different with what you think, right? So you have to compare. So, but the problem is we cannot wait until the real result come out. We cannot, if we don't have any history, okay, what should we do? Okay, think about this one. If you would like to ask the people about using the light bulb, you think about at the beginning, okay, at the beginning you would like to advertise about you can use more than 1,000 hours. If you can use more than 1,000 hours, okay. If you don't have any if we don't have any history, if we don't have any information, if we cannot even like wait for the real result come out, you would like to check about this is correct or not. How can you do? How can you do? How can you do to check about this result? How? Right now, I ask you about we would like to test. Okay. The problem is we would like to test is the light bulb. We can use more than 1,000 hours or not, and how can we make it? How can we know it's correct or it's not correct? Okay, Pepsi, can you answer me? How can you know it's correct or not? How can you know? And then how can you test hypothesis? What kind of number or what kind of result that you have to get it first? Because if you would like to test hypothesis, you have to have some number. You have to get some number, right, before you calculate. Right now, you just start, you don't have any number, how can you know? How can you compare? How? We make it, okay, we might test by ourselves. You might set up the test to test, or you might go and then ask from the real user, okay, but they have to record about how long that they use. Right? So you might have to check from the user. You might test by yourself, right? You might do like a sample and then test by yourself. Why we have to do the sample? Because we cannot do the whole population, is too big. You think about your light bulb itself for the whole country is quite big number, and how can we get all the numbers if possible? Okay. So that's why we need to do some sample, test, correct, get some data from that, and then we will calculate to find out our topic is correct or not. Our thinking, our expectation is correct or not. Understand? Here, understand? Okay. Again, one more time. You would like to think about, we would like to test. If we are the company, we would like to test. Because we would like to check about, okay, all the light bulb can use more than 1,000 hours or not. Actually, you can do by, okay, you think about the first thing. You sell the whole population for you. Your customer is, okay, you have so many less or Thailand. Right? The first thing, maybe you go and ask them one by one, okay, about the result. If you get more enough, if you get big enough number, for example, 400 sample, 1,000 sample, if everyone can use more than 1,000 hours on average, okay, I think you can make a conclusion about, okay, more than 1,000 hours for the light bulb. But the problem is you cannot do like that, it's too big. A lot of detail and waste a lot of time, a lot of money. You have to go and check one by one. Even 400, you think about 400 samples is very big, right? And then every sample need to record for you. They need to check 1,000 hours for you is more or less than 1,000 hours, right? So it might not easy to get it. And then how can we know? We need to check some small sample. We might test ourselves with a small sample. When we get the small sample, and then we will calculate about the thing, the expected and what we think is correct or not. Okay. Understand for now. Okay. I understand. Okay. Any question for now?
อาจารย์ผมถามน้องเรื่องนึง
อืม
คือว่ามีของพี่ที่สามที่เขาจะลงมาเรียนกับพวกผมเทอมสองเขาก็ต้องไปประเมินอาจารย์นะครับเพราะว่าอาจารย์บอกว่าจะลงทะเบียนต่อเทอมสองแล้วพอใครจะลงทะเบียนต่อ
ที่อยู่ปี 3
ใช่ครับเขาจะลงมาเรียนปีต่อ
ไม่ถ้าเขาอยู่ปี 3 เทอมนี้เขาได้เรียนไหมไม่ได้เรียน ถ้าไม่ได้เรียนก็ไม่ต้องทำ
แต่เขายังลงทะเบียนได้ใช่ไหมครับถ้าสมมติเพราะว่าเขาจะมาเรียนกับพวกผมตอนเทอมสอง
ลงทะเบียนได้ครับ ถ้าไม่ได้ขาดสภาพนักศึกษา
ไม่หมายถึงว่าไม่ต้องไปประเมิน
ไม่ต้องเพราะว่าไม่ได้เรียน
อ๋อโอเคครับ
อย่าลืมทุกคนต้องเข้าไปประเมินนะ ถ้าไม่ประเมินนะระบบมันจะล็อกไม่ให้เราลงทะเบียนเทอม2นะเพราะนั้นก็อย่าลืมนะเข้าไปประเมิน Okay, any question for now? Any question for now? Okay, so that's why we need to check, we need to test, we need to do hypothesis testing about our result is correct or not. Right? Okay. So let's start. So you need to test hypothesis. Why we need to test the hypothesis? Okay, absolutely. We would like to solve some problem, right? We would like to solve some problem. We would like to know some result. We cannot just explain by no information to someone. We cannot do like that. Think about you explain you are the light bulb. You said about our light bulb can use more than 1,000 hours. If you cannot prove it's correct or not, okay, I think it might get in trouble. You might have a problem. Or even you tell everyone 1,000 hours, but your customer use. If they close enough, for example, 900 something, I think they happy. But you think about you said 1,000 hours, but they can use only one day. The other day is broken. Get in trouble, right? Understand? That's why we need to check, we need to calculate again and again and again. And then we need to test the hypothesis because we would like to know the real result, what it is. And then tell what it is, what is correct, what is not correct. Alright? Any question for now? Okay, so like when you would like to solve the problem, actually you can ask or from your sample, you think about you might create some sample and then you ask. Or maybe you test by yourself, right? You might would like to test by yourself because you think about the light bulb. If you tell the user to record the information and tell you, I think it's not easy. You think about the customer need to record one by one. The first day 2 hours, the second day 1 hour, the next day 3 hours is not convenient like that, right? So you will have a lot of problem. And then you need to pay something for them to do that job. It's impossible for you to get the information for free, I think, right? Because you ask them to do something. Understand? So we might have to test, we might have to do some sample. And then the sample should be big enough. We already discussed about the big enough sample is you think about 400 sample. That is good enough. If it's very hard to get it, you might get 20, 30 is possible, but that should be very hard to get information. For example, if you need to test something with the CEO of the stock market, maybe it's it's hard for you to get the information from them. 20, 30 is possible, is acceptable. But if it's easy to get it, okay, we have to get 400 or more, 100, 200, 400, right? Alright, and then when we choose the sample, we need to choose by no bias. Okay. How can you choose by no bias? How can you choose by no bias? How can you choose? How can you do the sample by no bias? Okay, let's think about the lipo. How can we choose the sample by no bias? Okay. You explain about if we would like to get the information from the user, how can we choose by the bias? How you think about